Hi guys, welcome to another Sunday school lesson. And today I'll be speaking about hearing and doing. More importantly, how to move from hearing to doing. And to help us, we're gonna look at the book of James, which actually gives us some great insight on how to do just that. Such as in James 1, verse 22, James wrote, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourself, but do what it says." So, the idea of listening refers to someone who sits in the audience passively listening. So, passively listening, if you're a parent or any type of teacher, you'd understand what passive listening is. Basically, to explain passive listening in an easy way, it would be like buffet. A buffet, you have a large table or more than one table. It's all you can eat, and there's lots of different types of food on there, but you don't eat everything that's on the table. You just eat little bits of it and eat what you want. So passive listening kind of goes like this. Let's say your parent comes up to you, you're about to write your exams, and they tell you, if you get 70 or 80% in all of your subjects on your report, then exactly like you did when you were in grade 2 or 1, then they're going to give you 150 Rand that month after you get that 70 or 80%. But instead, what children hear is, since you got 70 or 80% when you were in grade 2 or 3 on your report, your parent is gonna give you 150 Rand every month for the next 10 years. That is passive listening at its best. So James continues with, do what it says. Doing is more than just a one-time act of obedience. It actually implies on being a continual doer. It's not a mindless action, but rather obeying with all of your being, spirit, soul, mind, and emotions. James isn't saying just do, but to be a doer of actions. So don't just do because you have to do it, or your parent told you you must do it, but do it and be someone that's willing to do it, that you want to do it, and you want to follow not only what people tell you to do, but also want to follow the word of the Lord. So James then goes on to comparing passive listening or hearing and doing to a mirror. In James 1, verse 23 to 24, James says, "Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who forgets his face in a mirror and, sorry, my bad. Um, Anyone who listens to the word does not do does not do what it says is like a man who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets his face, forgets what he looks like." So when James wrote this, mirrors weren't the typical type of mirrors that you see today. It was more um, a really highly polished brass, silver, or gold, and it was only for very rich people. Obviously, a mirror is like a provide. Obviously, a mirror only provides a little bit of a distortion of your own reflection, so you can't actually see yourself in the mirror. And what's interesting is that the word James uses to describe look means more than just a quick glance. It actually implies to look carefully, so you're actually focusing on what you're seeing, and you're not just looking at it for 3 or 4 seconds and just walking away. It's like you're actually trying to see what's on it or what's in it or what it's showing. James' point is clear though. When you are a hearer, not a doer, of God's word, you may actually be listening carefully to what God's word says, but your careful listening is not translating into a type of doing. James then continues in James 1 verse 25. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does. So, to end off my small little lesson, I have 3 examples. I'll give you 2 from the Bible, and I want to give one of my own. So, I would say one would be Jonah, um, who God told he has to go tell. He has to go to a land and then tell the people there that God is gonna burn their village and town down. But Jonah refused because the same people who he has to go tell is people who terrorize different villages and then um, terrorize different villages and take what they want from the villages. So Jonah refused, but God eventually, he tried to run away from God, ended up on a boat, and then he fell into the ocean, ended up getting eaten by a whale, and then ended up on the shore of the village. And then he actually went to go tell the people. Okay, I'm just gonna do the last one. The last example I want to do is what Jeffro would tell Jared on the weekend. So Jared has homework. He'll come home and Jeffro would ask him, Jared, do you have homework? He'll say yes, or sometimes even no. But Jeffro would tell him, you must work 1 hour on Saturday and 1 hour on Sunday to finish your homework. When you're done with your homework, then you can play games. But Jared then goes on Saturday, works for 2 hours, and then when Jeffro comes home, tells him, Jared, weren't you supposed to not play games until you finish all of your homework? But Jared just heard, no, he just has to do an hour's worth of work and then he can play games. So yeah, that's my little lesson. I hope you took something away from it. And enjoy your week further, guys. Thanks.
There ain't no one like me, man. I hope that you can look in the mirror every day and say to yourself, there's no one like you. Yeah.